One of the strongest criticisms against electric vehicles is the need to find charging stations. But for a small cost of up to $11 million per quarter mile, the road can wirelessly charge your electric vehicle. Sure, it's wildly inefficient. In fact, it takes roughly the same amount of energy to charge 100 homes, but it's not like the United States cares about efficiency anyway. While most other countries use light rail to travel short distances, America has too much freedom to share the cabin with fellow commuters and get there in a reasonable amount of time, so we had to reinvent the wheel, or in this case, the road. The premise of this ingenious idea is to turn roads and highways into a giant wireless charger, similar to how you would wirelessly charge your phone. Copper charging coils would be placed below the road surface and would connect to receivers at the bottom of electric vehicles. As the vehicle passes over the coils, it receives a jolt of power that charges the vehicle's battery. The goal is to allow the vehicle to charge while moving over a certain distance. In recent years, pilot projects in the United States have been testing the efficacy of this technology, named Dynamic Wireless Power Transfer, or DWPT. In November of 2023, Detroit revealed the first DWPT city road spanning a quarter mile on 14th Street. The project cost nearly $2 million per mile and is part of Governor Gretchen Whitmer's plan to make Michigan carbon neutral by 2050. This plan includes building wireless charging roads and 100,000 chargers to support 2 million electric vehicles. In May of 2024, Purdue University started construction on the first DWPT highway segment in West Lafayette, Indiana. This quarter-mile highway segment on US Highway 52 cost $11 million. Imagine the cost of electrifying the entire highway. We've gone over the ridiculous costs of implementing the technology, but is it worth it? The main concern is the efficiency of wireless charging compared to wired charging. Think of charging your phone. Most of you know that plugging your phone in charges it faster and minimizes energy loss, whereas wireless charging usually takes longer and causes it to overheat. Now imagine wirelessly charging your phone going 65 miles per hour. How effective do you think that would be? The Electric City Road in Detroit already experiences a 20% power loss, and it is nowhere near the speed limits on highways. In addition to the poor functional efficiency, the environmental impact of constructing wireless charging roads would bring Mr. O'Hare to tears of joy. Research shows these electric roads would require 18.3 tons of copper per mile of road. To put that into perspective, it takes about 439 pounds of copper to build an average single-family home. With the rising popularity of electric vehicles, copper demand for EVs will increase from 185,000 tons in 2017 to over 1.7 million tons by 2027, which doesn't account for the addition of these resource-intensive electric roads. Copper is a finite resource, and excessive mining can lead to environmental pollution and negative health outcomes, potentially offsetting the lower carbon emissions. Say you ignore all the inefficiencies and environmental issues and build the electric road. Well, you still have to maintain it. We here in the United States can't even maintain the normal roads and highways we have now, receiving a grade of D from the American Society of Civil Engineers. What makes you think we can handle the maintenance of hundreds of miles of complex electrical components and infrastructure? Then there's the costs. The average cost to maintain 1 mile of a normal road in the United States is approximately $15,000. With the cost to build an electric road in the multi-millions for a single mile, the cost to maintain a national network suitable for the country's energy needs would be astronomical. Not to mention crackheads stealing more and more copper components from EV chargers and infrastructure to sell for scrap. While proponents of DWPT state these concerns are just growing pains associated with any new technology, the technology is actually 15 years old and has failed every time it was implemented. Korea was the first country to try, launching its first DWPT bus in 2010. But by 2016, the government decided against maintaining the 4 electric buses, making the $69 million investment worthless. The United Kingdom conducted a feasibility study in 2022 that concluded that wireless charging is at least 3 times more expensive than traditional conductive charging. Oh, and to add the receivers so vehicles can charge from the road, how about another 67,000 pounds per bus? Most recently, Sweden considered creating an electric highway, but the Swedish Transport Agency recommended against the program in 2024, largely because the cost quoted earlier in the project relied too much on the manufacturer's estimates, and the agency concluded that costs would be at least double what was previously reported. With all the challenges, why is this project even being considered? Well, when you have states like Indiana that have banned light rail, politicians are incentivized to create crazy and implausible ideas. And yes, this was actually a real idea. The world doesn't need new electric roads to save the planet. Light rail systems have existed since the late 1800s and produce 62% less emissions per mile than single-occupancy vehicles. The solution is right in front, or sometimes even below us.